I've waited a long time for this game to release, and it's finally here. But if you were expecting a beginner-friendly tactics game, you may want to hold on to something, because this game will hit you hard and fast, and have no regrets. That isn't to say that this is the most challenging tactics game out there, but right after the tutorial, the game throws a lot at you at once, and once you finally get the hang of the wonky menu system, some of the early missions, even on normal difficulty, will not hold back. Instead of putting you on one side of the map and the enemies on the other side, they'll throw you right in the middle of battle with all the enemies surrounding you. For a casual tactics player, this could be a little nerve-wracking, but if you like the challenge, there's a lot to enjoy here, especially if you've been missing a good tactics game for a while. Me personally, I enjoy a few tactics games here and there, like Tactics Ogre or Advance Wars, but some tactics games are much more difficult for me than others. I remember playing Final Fantasy Tactics and having a hard time just to beat a few of the first missions, but when I played Final Fantasy Tactics Advanced, I was able to beat the entire game. Maybe Final Fantasy Tactics Advanced is a little bit more casual, but I really enjoyed it. It's very easy to get into, but once you do, the game opens up with a lot of mechanics that make it really fun. But that's probably the difference. Final Fantasy Tactics Advance eases you into gameplay, while Final Fantasy Tactics expects you to really know what you're doing early on. Which is not the fault of the game, but my skill level in these types of games. And so it is for Metal Slug Tactics. It really expects you to be able to handle the challenge right away. There's even friendly fire, so you had better be careful where you're shooting, because you could end up hitting your teammate. So okay, let's talk about the battle system. It goes like this. The more you move, the less chance you are of getting hit by an enemy. You build up dodge points by moving around the map. Stand in one place too long, and you're a sitting duck. This is the game's way of simulating the run and gun aspect of the original games. But sometimes staying in one place is beneficial, since you and your teammates can sync up if they're on the same line of the grid as you are. So if you're attacking an enemy on the line, and your teammate is also on the line, you get 2 attacks for the price of 1. But like I said before, you could end up hitting your teammate if you use a weapon that's too powerful. Gain enough points, and you can call in airstrikes and other special abilities, and winning matches levels you up, awarding you with your choice of upgrades. Beat all the missions in one area and move on to the next. It's all the usual fare for a tactics game. The story is fairly simple and not much to write about, but for me the fun of Metal Slug is the crazy amounts of explosions and giant mechs. And while that is in there, it's few and far between since tactics games are generally kind of slow. So I had to really temper my expectations of the game since I'm so used to run and gun and fast gameplay. Even though the game rewards you for constantly moving every turn, it's not really the same, obviously, and sometimes it's better not to move on your turn, but the game punishes you for that. On the bright side, the actual Metal Slug, the tanks that you can hop into, are littered throughout the game and are really fun to use when you get to use one. The action does ramp up later on in the game, but the first few missions are kind of slow. But make no mistake, they aren't easy, and later on the game gets even more difficult. Enemies will be in cover, making it a challenge in itself to figure out how to do damage on them. All the while they're calling in for reinforcements, and that's just in one of the first missions of the game. The graphics are what's really going to bring a lot of people into this game. Gorgeous pixel art and animation that really brings the environment to life. It really does look like the side-scrolling shoot-'em-up turned into a tactics game. All the characters are there, like the guy that you rescue that says thank you.
Thank you.
And all the varied enemies that you fought before. It's all the same stuff that you've seen before, but it still feels fresh and never gets boring. The environments and the backgrounds are also well detailed and never feels cramped. Pair that with the arcadey music and sound effects, and what more could you want? It's Metal Slug, but tactical. There were a few issues that I'm not sure were bugs or just how the game is. After the tutorial, the game would not save, or let me continue from after that. Luckily you can skip the tutorial, and after beating the first mission, it did finally save. I also played it on PC, and while you can play with controllers, you still need a mouse for certain inputs, like reviving teammates. Maybe it's better on console though. but I have been hearing that there are still a few bugs on the console version as well, but I don't think it's anything too concerning. All in all, I enjoyed Metal Slug Tactics, but as a tactical game, I've played better. But take that with a grain of salt. I love tactics games, but sometimes they are just too much for me to handle. Metal Slug Tactics definitely has a learning curve, and it won't hold back. That could be a plus for some people, and a negative for others. I give this game a 7 out of 10. It doesn't do much different than other tactics games, but it is a gorgeous game, and what it does well. But I can't really knock it for being a little challenging because I'm just rusty with the genre. If you like tactics games, there isn't anything negative here to turn you off or dissuade you from playing it, unless you aren't a Metal Slug fan. And if you don't like tactics games, and were curious about this one because of Metal Slug, this game won't really change your mind on the genre, though maybe you should try it anyway. Sometimes the right theme is all you need to finally understand what people love about these types of games. If you like tactics games, you should definitely check out Metal Slug Tactics. But if you're a casual player, I suggest you wait for a sale. So if you like this video and want more reviews and impressions, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Till next time.